Hi, this is Jim, the IO Tesla guy. Welcome back to the channel. In this short video, I want to talk about Autopilot, specifically navigate on Autopilot and some of the things of how the car reacts during my big trip that I did and I didn't like. First off, the likes. I've had Autopilot engaged for most of this trip, and I'm over 2,000 miles on my big trip now. I'm in Colorado, and the Autopilot is on almost all the time, especially in the road. And when it's working well, it is awesome because you can really just kind of focus on managing the car instead of managing the road. It's not that you're not completely driving anymore, you're not, but you are actively involved. Changing lanes is a matter of just turning a turn signal instead of actually making the lane change yourself. But one of the things that I kind of found and I thought I would share with you is this, and maybe you've got your own feedback on this, is that while you're driving, you try to do whatever you can to reduce the nag that the flashing blue on the screen. You need to move it. I tried to figure out a way, and I found two positions for me that work well. The first position that I have is in, let's say, the 7 o'clock position with my left hand, with my thumb at maybe the 6 o'clock, and I'm always constantly using the weight of my arm to slightly put tension on the steering wheel to the left. And from there, it doesn't seem to nag me, but it does after a while kind of fatigue my left hand, so I got to change it up. The other position would be with my arm resting on the upper side of the door, and then my hand in a couple of different positions on, let's say, the 9 o'clock position on the top edge of the T, and also, again, using the weight of my arm and my grip to pretty much put a slight left tension on the steering wheel while it's driving. And for me, that seems to work out really well as far as eliminating the nag altogether. Now, I have all the bells and whistles for Navigate on Autopilot turned on, and for the first half of the drive out here, I had it change lanes for me, and I found that at first I thought that was really nice, but I eventually decided that it was more of a management hassle to me. It does a great job when it does a great job, and it's horrible when it doesn't do a good job. I noticed that when the sequence is, it decides to turn, it blinks on the screen, it turns on the turn signal, and you can count it, and it vibrates the steering wheel, which is a setting, and you can count as soon as it vibrates, 1, 2, 3, and then it starts moving. Now, 3 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually is quite a bit. So if you've got someone on you're on the fast lane, you got someone on your rear end, and you're looking to get over, it signals at 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to slightly get over. Is enough to get the guy behind you a little aggravated. The second problem that I have with the auto lane change is that it wants to get back into the slow lane, in my opinion, too soon. It almost cuts off the car behind me. And when you're getting in front of a big semi truck, the last thing you want to do is cut that short. And I did end up, I think, aggravating a few drivers to the point where they would speed around me and try to cut me off. So what I did when I got to my halfway point is I turned off the auto lane change. It still gives me a recommendation to make a lane change, but in order for me to actually make the lane change, I have to put on the turn signal, and it'll get over or get back however I want to do it. So for me, that is how I best navigate Autopilot. It's not perfect because especially it has big time problems going through construction areas. Went through a really nasty piece just on the northern end of Colorado Springs, headed north, and it was a nail biter, and there was no way that I would have let Autopilot do that. But where Autopilot really shined was in our trip from Santa Fe north up into the mountains to Taos and back. That was a 45 to 50 mile an hour trip, and it was nice 2-lane road. It was well marked. It was sweeping turns. The scenery was beautiful, and the Autopilot handled it all 99% right, and it will really allow me as a driver to spend more time focusing on the scenery and less time focusing on the micromanagement of the drive. I just had to focus on the macro management of the drive, and every now and then I would have to adjust the speed up and down with the thumb wheel as we were approaching turns. It did by itself sometimes slow down, but most of the time it didn't, and you just got a sense from when you needed to flick it down for 5 miles an hour or flick it back up for 5 miles an hour. But that's my report on Autopilot. What's your experience? I'd like to hear you down in the comments. So if you like this video, please hit the like button. It would work out really great for the channel if you hit that subscribe button and click that little bell that gives you a notification when a new video comes out. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time on the next video. Thanks.